Welcome to the madness!
Hey, how's it going, folks? The name's Steffi, and welcome back to another episode of Ker Nethalas into the Midnight Throne. Okay, so in the last episode, we went over the introduction of dungeon exploring, and we looked at the basics of combat. Now we're going to be going into combat itself. Now, I'm going to have to re-record this encounter again, because last month when I recorded it, or I think in the end of March, when I was in the middle of editing the last episode, it was going to be a lot longer. Actually, it was going to include everything in one, but the segment with the combat encounter, I accidentally left my desktop audio recording channel unmuted, because what I do is I listen to music while I'm doing these to keep myself focused or whatever, or just give me a little bit of entertainment while I'm doing this. And I forgot to unmute it, so what we're going to have to do is fresh. But the good news is, by doing it over again, I can actually streamline it, because in the combat encounter, it's a little bit all over the place. So let's see if we can do this one little bit at a time. So let's go over combat then. So let's look at combat encounters. Okay, so coming to combat itself. So the way attack rolls work is we roll a d100. Performing an attack works the same as any other skill check. You roll a d100 compared to the results of a relative combat skill. And if it's equal or less than the skill score, the attack is successful. But this is combated with the enemy's combat skill check as well, but again, we'll go over that in a second. Turns around. So to understand combat, you must know that the difference between a turn and a round. A turn is a single combatant's chance to act, while a round is the sum of all combatants' trigger. A character can use as many reactions in a round as they need, but each reaction after the first one suffers a cumulative -20 to all consecutive reactions they make, until the start of the next round. Defending from an opponent's attack is the most typical reaction, but other abilities are considered reactions as well. So standard build actions. At the core of a combat round, they are self-contained and the results are seen in the same turn, unless they possess some item or ability. PCs have one standard action per turn. Certain abilities or spells need 2 or more standard actions to be completed, unless the character in question can perform more than the regular 1 standard action per round. This means they'll be forced to spend 2 or more actions to complete an action, where in this case the character in question cannot do anything but concentrate on the action, and suffer a -30 to all defensive maneuvers they initiate. So, we're going to do this one little bit at a time. So here we have initiative and surprise. When you're faced with an opponent and combat is clearly taking place, you must determine who goes to strike first. This is done by pitching your perception versus your target awareness in an opposed check known as initiation check. Whoever wins gets to act first until combat is over. If either side rolls a critical failure, their opponents attack as they have surprised them, as explained below. Alternatively, and only if your opponents haven't surprised you, something that always be stated explicitly, you can attempt to surprise them before combat starts. This is done by comparing your stealth against your opponent's awareness in an opposed check. In case there are several opponents with different awareness scores, simply use the highest among them. The same goes for your side, but reversed. If you play with multiple PCs, only use the lowest stealth score among them. In case you're a single player accompanied by followers of any sort, your stealth score is reduced by 10 for each follower. If you win the check, your initiative is yours and you get to meet your first attack with a +20. If you fail, a proper initiation check must fail to determine who goes first, but your perception receives a -10 modifier. In a death in Necropolis, it doesn't really matter how fast you are or how sharp your reflexes are. If you're caught unaware, you're dead for far sooner than you expected. Pretty much, because in the original combat encounter, Victor died. Yeah, honestly, these Blightfang rats are harder than you think. Okay, so going on to Peak 3D, we're going to do our initiation check. So, we went into this room, the Blightfang rats see us and we see him. So, that's what we're going to do. So, we're going to do our initiation check. So, we're going to do a perception against their awareness. So, we roll a d100 and we'll see what happens. Now, also as well, there's one other thing as well we need to remember is, we have the dagger weapon as part of our bladed weapons. We get this quick skill, which gives us +10 to initiation checks, which includes this. So, let's roll a d10 and let's see if we can get under a 40 perception. So we'll go d100, 53. It is not under our perception, so therefore we get a failure. At least I think that's how it works, right? Actually, I don't think it matters. No, it's just whoever rolls highest. So we got a 53, we plus the 10 from the dagger, that gives us 63. And we'll do a D100 for the rats. 50. Okay, so we go first. I think. Is that how it works? Obviously, it's the D100 skill check. But last time, I don't think it did that, actually. Perception for superpowers, the post check, known as the initiation check. Whoever gets that first, and the combat rolls are over. If you've side rolls a combat failure, their opponents attack if they're surprised them, as explained below. Okay, right, so it looks like we go first then. Alright, yeah, so it looks like we go first then. Okay then. So we go first. Very simple. Right, now going back to the book. So we get possible combat actions. Standard attack. Form to attack with your weapon to a target in the same room. This is standard action. Abilities. You may use one of your mastery abilities. Not all abilities are considered standard actions. Though, read each of their descriptions to learn more. And then flee. When things ain't looking good, you might want to disengage from combat, retreat to a previous route. You must make a successful dodge check. If you fail, it means that your opponent is blocking you and you cannot leave combat as standard action. Other. If you use any item you have in your person, interact with something, assist an ally, or swap weapons, these are all standard actions, unless you're using an item from your belt, in which case it's a free action. Okay, no, combat. Once the order of action has been established, it's time to start the fight itself. The attacking character makes a standard skill check, which is a roll d100, a comparative result to the combat skill they're using. The attacking character has the lead and as such receives a +10 to their attack skill. And then simultaneously, the defender also makes a combat skill check. If it's a player, it will be the skill relevant to their currently equipped weapon, or their dodge skill. If it's an NPC, they must use their combat skill. Any type of parry bonuses the defender might have, such as shield, applies to its roll. We then compare both results. If the attacker rolls highest while still rolling below their skill score, the score hits. If on the other hand, if the defender who rolled highest while still rolling under their skill, or rolling an uncontested critical, they get to roll on the defensive move table. If one side fails, the attack roll, but the opponent doesn't, then the successful side manages to attack or defend depending on whose turn it is. Okay, so because we're going in first, we have the attacking. So we're going to attack with our dagger, so we need to roll under a 60 in order to score a hit, but as high as possibly can. Now, because we're attacking, we get a +10 to that as well. So, and their combat skill is 30. Right, so let's do a D100. 46 +10, 56. So that's a score for us. So that's an attempted hit. Now, it depends on the rats. So, before we make an attack roll, we need to talk about the individual animals themselves. No, we'll do that when it comes to their turn. So they need to roll under a D30. So they need to roll under a D30. Not D30. They need to roll under 30 to make it a success. 76, which you don't, so that's a failure. Right. So now we've attacked. Now, here's the thing. There is 3 enemies in this pack. So we're facing 3 enemies. We only make 1 attack on 1 person per turn. So here's where we need to keep track of things. So we have 3 rats. So we're going to go R1, R2, and R3. Each of them has 3 health each. Points here. So we need to keep track of these 3 enemies here. Okay, now going back to the book. It's important. Okay, consecutive defensive rolls in the same roll, either with the appropriate attack skill or dodge skill, reduce the skill by 20 after the first one. As is usual for reactions, the reset starts a new round, only affects reaction skill checks. Okay. Critical strike automatically wins the confrontation regardless of the opponent's roll. Critical fumble automatically loses. There's a standard flow of combat, but there's a couple of exceptions. Most enemy attacks can be defended against with standard weapon check described above, but some can be avoided with the dodge skill, such as certain overseer attacks. If this is the case, it always specifically say so on the creature's description. Enemies can either attack physically, in which case the combat is resolved as described above, or magically, in which case the player must pass a magic resistance check, or suffer the spell's effects. As in the case of a PC's magic abilities, opponents do not need to make a skill check of any sort. The ability just manifests. Each one of the monster's abilities is always tagged as physical or magical. When it's the opponent's turn, you must roll on their action table to see if their attack is a physical or magical one and then resolve it accordingly. Oh, weapon speed. I forgot about weapon speed. So every weapon in Ker Nethalas has speed value. This represents the overall maneuverability, so wielding a weapon with high speed can end up being what gives you the edge against a tough opponent. A weapon speed is added to all your combat skill checks, so you need to remember that. Okay, so here's the big thing. Hit location and damage. Once it's clear that you, or your opponent, has managed to hit your target, you must determine the consequences of your attack. For this, you must roll on the appropriate hit location table depending on the target's anatomy. Each creature you encounter will have a weak spot marked by a heart symbol next to the body part in question. Striking the opponent's weak spot is considered an automatic critical hit. As for human, your weak spot is located in your head. And then, you can choose to target a specific body part by applying a -13 modifier to the attack roll. There's two potential uses, either targeting the creature's weak spot to ensure a critical hit, or disabling a limb, leg, arm, or wing, which reduces the target attack skill by 10 until the end of combat. A disabling attack deals no damage but always be declared before rolling. Accidentally striking a limb while not targeted deliberately doesn't disable it. So these guys are classed as quadruped, I believe. So we need to go back to the stat block to have a look. Yeah, hit location quadruped. Weak spot head. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to roll where we hit him. Hind leg, hindquarters, forequarters, front legs, or head. So we hit them in number 10. We are going to hit them in the forequarters, which is sort of like shoulder area sort of thing. You know, if I was on all fours, this kind of area. Right, so we target them there. Now this is the important bit. Dealing damage. If an attack manages to hit, the attacker rolls damage and compares the result of each die to the combat table. The damage dealt column shows the amount of health/toughness that must be subtracted from the creature suffering damage, unless they're wearing some sort of armor as described below. There are a few important things to remember. Any item, spell, or any ability, spell, or item that increases damage by a fixed amount, +2/+4, increases the damage die roll, not the amount of damage that the target receives directly. After applying any damage, modifiers are applied to the lowest die roll but only to a single die. All non-magical weapons deal d6 damage. Any type of damage, be it a physical attack, spell, trap, must be rolled in the damage dealt table. So, we roll a d6, and determining on our roll, we can deal either 0 to 2 damage. So let's see how much damage this rat's going to take. So we rolled a 5, which means that we deal 2 points of damage. Which is cool. That's a great start. So we'll cross that out, put 1 in. So now that's their turn. So that's our turn now, so then it's their turn. So, let me just get the right window open. There we go. So, now we need to talk about the rats themselves. We don't need to go over armor because we're not going to be attacked by armor. Shields, unarmed, prone. We also got fumbles as well, healing and death, but what we need to do is we need to go down to combat encounters, opponent type. Okay. So sooner or later you're going to have to face some abomination or strange creature trying to meet you their next meal. All opponent types are classified by type: animal, astral, plant, demon, elemental, undead, humanoid, construct. While most have a single type, some of them have a combination of two, such as the elemental construct and undead plant. Something about combat difficulty as well. Okay. When an opponent is faced with a decision who to attack due to the fact you're accompanied by friends or minions, try to evenly distribute the number of opponents among your party, randomizing the case of doubt. Well, because we're facing 3 opponents, basically we're going to be in 3 attacks on us this turn. Creature stat block, yes we know about. Athletics, this is used when your abilities acquired post-check, targeting your physical prowess. Awareness, all creatures can have some way of seeing or detecting danger around them. Combat skill, attack and defend. Endurance, finds a creature's ability to resist the outcome substantial. Health, hit location, level adaptation. Magic resistance number. Some opponents will come in groups. This is their case. Track each one of their health, attacks, and other details separately, and their spoils. Now, we also get traits as well. Now, the trait for the Blightfang rat is they are a pack. So the pack trait tells us, you can find it. This creature receives a +5 combat skill for each other pack creature still alive in the room. So this means that they get a plus 15. Now, I didn't do it before because I just wanted to demonstrate how the thing was going to do, and not to mention give us a nice early handicap, because trust me, yeah. So, the creature receives a plus 5 for each other pack of creatures still alive in the room. So this means that when they are going to make their next combat skill, this next rat, they'll get a plus 10, and they'll also get another plus 10 from attacking as well. Now, is that all I wanted to show? It was. Okay, so now going back to here, now we need to randomize what action they're going to take. So on 1 or 2, they do a bite attack, which is d6 piercing damage, 3 to 5, which is a d4 plus 1, and rally. The Blightfang rat screeches loudly, wailing up all Blightfang rats in the room, increasing all damage dealt by 1. And here's the thing, this is cumulative. This isn't temporary. This is a cumulative. So every time we get a rally, that damage is going to go up and up and up and up. This is what killed Victor in the first time. Nasty. Right, so we're going to do a d6 to determine the first action. 4. So we're going to do a bite attack. So it's a d4 plus 1, but we need to do a combat skill check. So we're going to do a d30. Sorry, d100 first. 30. Just makes it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a plus 10 for the initiation, for the attacker buff, plus another 10 for having 2 other pack animals in the group, so that is 50. So now we need to roll d100 for us, which is going to be 60, so we need to get under a 60 if we can. 28, we don't. So this is a full-on attack now. So that's a full-on attack. So, now that it's attacked us, we need to go to the hit location die, because it's beat us. And then we're going to the humanoid. Let's see who we're attacking. So we'll do a d20. 6. Alright, so we're attacking the left leg. Okay, so now it does d4 plus 1 slashing damage. So we roll a d4 plus 1. 2. Okay, so we go to the damage table, and we suffer 1 point of damage. Now, this is the other thing as well. Let's go to the card sheet. So, this is the other thing as well when it comes to this game. So, this health and toughness. Any damage we take through toughness first. When our toughness gets to 0, any further damage through just normal attacks will go onto our health. At the end of every combat, every victory, we regain, I think it's d4 toughness, I think. So we kind of regenerate HP a little bit, but yeah, this is a lot harder to think. So we take 1 point of toughness. So we take 1 point of damage, 1 point slashing damage. Now we need to do the so now we need to go back to the other 2 rats and see what they're gonna do. So d6. I'm gonna do a bite attack. So we'll do the same as we did before. We need to get under 30. 97, that's an automatic failure. Now we do a combat skill check, but with a minus 20 this time, because defensive checks get a minus 20 every turn. So that's a 25 minus 20. That's a 5, but that's still a success for us. So this means that we can choose to attack or defend. And I think I'm going to attack. So let's roll another d100 to see if we hit. 88, that's a failure. So we miss. Because what we're going to do, we're going to counter attack on rat 2. Right, so now we go to rat 3. See what it's going to do. 2, that's a bite attack. So we're going to do another d30. Sorry, d100. See if we try and get under 30. 84 is a miss. So we need to do our other defense check. So with us, it's a minus 40 this time. 79 minus 40, is that right? Am I reading it right? Or is it plus? It should be plus in my opinion. Is it? Wait a second. Where did I read that? Okay, so the turning around dodge skill reduces the skill by 20 after the first one. It's usually for reactions. Defensive rolls, same round. Consecutive defensive rolls in the same round, either with the proper skill, touch skill, reduces the skill by minus 20 after the first one. Okay. So that means from 79 minus 40, that'll get us under giving us success, right? I think that's how it means. Yeah, I think what it is, I think it's to give solo characters a chance to... Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think I'm playing that right. I've got to watch some gameplay after this. See if I'm doing it right. So basically, according to that, that's success. Because minus 40, that's 39 down to 39. So we're going to make a counter-attack. Because again, if we win, we can choose attack or defend. So 24, yep. We get there. Awesome. We're going to do D6 onto rat 3. 6. Crit. Nice. And then go into the damage table. Oh no, we need to go to the... We need to go to the location table, excuse me. Wow. Okay. Okay, that was not planned, I promise you. So 20 is the head, and that's the weak spot. So that deals double damage. We've done a 6, so we deal 4 points of damage because it's doubled. So it's 2 damage doubled, meaning 4. And because we did a counter attack on Rat 3 with 4 HP, Rat 3's down. Perfect. Nice. I like it, and now it's Alteron again. Okay then. So we're going to attack Rat 1, so let's go with D100. 77 is a failure. We're going to do a defense roll for the Rat 1. That's a failure as well, so no hit, no defensive ability. Okay then, right, so we're going to go back to the Rat's turn now, so let's do another D100. Sorry, we'll go do a D6 for its action. 2, that's a bite attack. Just double checking. Yep, bite attack, physical. So we need to get under 30. No, that's a failure. So let's do a defense check for us. 75, that's a failure. Okay, then we go to Rat 2. 6. Starts to rally. Starts to screech out. Like, oh fuck, I forgot the hold on. Even with the pluses, the last few would have missed anyway. Okay, right, yeah, with the pluses, the last few would have missed anyway. Okay. I keep again with the pluses, down to +5 and a +10 and stuff now. Yeah, I still would have missed anyway. Okay, yeah, so that increases the damage by +1. So let's go... nope, it would help if I went D instead of B. DMG +1, and then we'll keep an eye on that. Right, so it's back to our turn again. So let's do a D100 attack. That is a critical success, I think? 100, yeah, that's a critical success, so it means that I think we... So if I'm not mistaken, that means that we win the counter already? I keep forgetting to add the +10 to while we're... Do you know what, that's the other thing as well, I keep forgetting to add the +10 from the dagger as well. Yeah. While scoring, if an attacker rolled highest, well no, score. Or roll on a contested critical. Critical strike automatically wins the confrontation, regardless of the opponent's roll. A critical automatically loses. Right, so we automatically win. Okay, so we got a critical hit. Nice. So we'll do a d20. 8. So we hit the hindquarters. Nice. And then we do a d6 for the damage, so we rolled a 3. That means that we deal 1 damage, and that is enough to kill Rat 1. Perfect. I tell you something, I don't know how how I effed up in the last, I don't know how I effed up in the last encounter, because we lost. It got to the point where basically everyone just kept missing, and they kept rolling d6s to get their damage up to like a +7. Honestly, it was ridiculous. Things are getting a lot better now. Okay, right, so let's go with the rat now. So the rat doesn't have any bonuses except for a +10 from attacking. So that's 48, but it fails its combat check. And then we'll do D100 for us, adding a +10. Hold on. I need to figure out what speed is for a weapon, actually. I keep forgetting about that a little bit. Okay, our weapon speed, if I'm not mistaken. Spells and loot, weapons, weapon weight. Okay, we got a dagger, so we've got +10, so we need to add a +10 to our checks. That's what we need to do. Okay. So we're going to do D100, 11, +10, 21. Yep, we succeed. We're going to attack back. So we'll do a D100 combat skill bladed check, +10 for our dagger. That's a failure. Okay, so it comes back to our turn then. Okay, so it comes back to our turn again. Oh wait, 3. Oh yeah, no, it's Rat's turn, right? No, it's our turn. Yeah, of course, it's our turn. Right. Lose track of things. Okay, so it's a D100 and then +20, 10 from our speed of our dagger, and then +10 from the attacker's buff. 77, that's a miss. So let's do a D100 for the rat, then it's again under 30 for its successful defense. 42, that's a failure. We'll do a D6 for the rat. So that's a scratch attack, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So let's do a D100. That's a D100 +10. 3. Yes, so it's 13. So we need to do, so it's successful. Now it's need to do 100 for us. That's a critical failure. That means that they automatically win. I believe. Yep, it is. Just want to double check things. But I just want to see if and the attacker has rolled highs but still rolling below the skill, and now they get to roll on the defensive table when the side fails attack roll. If the side fails the attack roll but the opponent doesn't, then it's successful. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we failed that, so there's an automatic hit for them. Even with a +10, doesn't matter. Okay, so let's do a D20 for the hit. 10. Okay. Going to the hit table. Humanoid 10 is chest. Now this is important because I believe we need to go to here for a second. Because I believe we got armour in the chest, right? We do. Actually, I need to put this back up to 4 actually. Yeah, we got chest and the abdomen armour. So how does armour work into this? Let's read it. There was something about armor, I believe, right? Okay. Most creatures will have some sort of armor, at least one of their body parts. The amount of armor shown determines how much incoming damage is absorbed. And affecting the creature or player, armor value is deducted only after all the damage rolls have been tallied up instead of applying to each damage roll, dice roll individually. So because we're being hit on the chest, we need to do a dice roll now. I'll show you in a second. So we're going to do D6. Oh, sorry, no, it's a D. What is it? D4 +1. Okay, so D4 +1. That is free. That's free on damage location, which is 1 damage. And then going back to here, we have protection of 2. So this means that the protection, any total damage will be reduced by 2, I believe. Now, integrity, I believe with integrity, that's sort of like the armor's hit points. You know what I mean? So it means that it will take up to 2 points of damage every cumulative attack, I believe, and the rest will go to here. So for example, because we only rolled the 1, and it's protection 2, I think this means that the attack does not go through, I believe? I think it does. I think that's what I read before at some point. Okay, let me read the example here actually. This might be a little bit better for us. Sorry, not bad, go away. Okay, Arnk has managed to score a hit against a terrible Algaman. The score hits the Algaman on the arm, but fortunately for Arnk, the creature has free armor on that location. Arnk deals 3d6 plus 1 damage and rolls a 4, 3, and 5 since the lowest damage rolls to 3. Arnk adds the plus 1 modifier to it, resulting in another 4. He then tallies up the total damage. 1 damage for each 4 rolled, plus 2 for 5, and a total of 4. Since the Algaman's armor is free, Arnk only managed to deal 1 damage. So 1, 3. So 1. So 1 damage, so 2. Plus this 4, since the armor is free, managed to deal 1 damage against it. Armor is only taken into account when in combat. Damage from traps or other external forces not absorbed by the armor. All armor has an integrity value represented by die. After a fight, when a creature worn by the creature is seen in the integrity die must be rolled. A roll of 1 or 2 means the die goes down the dice chain 1 stage. A result of plus 1. Oh, okay. All armor has an integrity value represented by a die. After a fight, the armor worn by the creature has seen you use must be rolled. A roll of 1 or 2 means the die goes down 1 stage. A result of 1 or 2 in the last stage, D4, means the armor is beyond. Right, so the armor integrity. Repairing armor increases its turns by dying even. Right, okay, so the integrity doesn't make a difference. Because if we go to the items, armor and protective gear, we got the scale mail, I believe we got. Scale torso. So scale. No, it's full suit. I need a piecemeal. High scale. So it's a D8 integrity, which we did a D4. Right, that's wrong then because. Right, so according to this, integrity should be 8, right? But we rolled a 4. So it should be 8. Huh, that's a little bit confusing, this actually. This is really confusing. Helmet smells of reduce dodge skill capacity dodge skills by not wearing it. Go back up to armor. Most creatures have armor. Most how much damage dealt, inflicting the armor. Armor deducted after all on the right. Okay, right, so I see, right, okay. So right now our maximum is 8, and then what we need to do is right, okay, so it's a D8 to start with, and then on a 1 or 2 we go down the way, and it goes from an 8 to a 6, and it shows the courage. Right, okay, I'm with you now. But still, it does -2 damage altogether anyway. Right, okay, that makes sense. So by doing the -2, go back to the damage, which is a 3, 1, bringing it down to 0, so no damage. Okay, right, that makes sense now. I'm starting to realise now. See, I never clocked onto that before. See, I thought the integrity was the armor health. But at the end of the battle, we need to roll and. Right, okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense now. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, now it's back to our turn. So let's do a D100, because we need to get 60 or below for us. That's a failure, so let's do a D100 for the rat. 29, that is a success. So that means they could choose to do attack or defensive maneuver. So let's do a D2 to see what we're going to do. 2, defensive maneuver. So this means on their defensive maneuvers. Not wrong. Okay. So we do a D10, and that's what gives them a nice little buff. So let's see what we get. 6. Your attack deals plus D10 damage. Oh my god. Your next attack deals plus D10 damage. Great. And speaking of which, it's Rat's turn now. So let's do D100. 64 is a miss. Let's do a attack check on us. 2, that's a hit. Plus 10 from the dagger. Good, good, good. And we're going to attack ourselves. We're going to counter attack. So D100, 9, that's a hit. Perfect. So let's do a D6 to determine what damage. 4. Oh, we need to determine a hit location. Fuck, keep forgetting about that. 7. Okay, 7 is the hindquarters again. And we've dealt how much damage? 4 points of damage, meaning that we roll 1 point of damage for the rat. Okay. So that goes down from 3 to 2. Right. Let's do the rat again. D100. 44, that's an automatic miss. We'll do a defensive roll. 89, that's a miss. I forgot to do the action, see what action would have done. Okay, right, that's fine then. That would have been a miss anyway. Gotta remember the action, Deffy, gotta remember the action. See, I do this really quickly to the point where I actually end up forgetting. Okay, right, so it's our turn again. 38, that's success, plus the 20, gives us 58. 10 from the attacker's buff, 10 from our speed, from the speed of our dagger. So that's 58. So the rat's a 99. So let's do hit location, 18. Which is 18, which is the left front leg. And we deal d6 damage, 2 damage. No, sorry, 2 on the dice roll, giving us 1 point of damage. Bringing it from 2 to 1. Now the rat's counter-attacking. 4, that's the slash. So let's do a D100. Plus 10 for the attacker's buff. 79 is a miss. We'll do a defense roll. 92, that's a miss. Our turn. We'll do another dagger attack. D100, blade weapons. 17, that's a hit. Plus 20, giving us 37. Defense roll. 96, that's a failure for the rat. 1 D20. 10, that is the hindquarters again, I believe. So at the forequarters. And then doing a D6. 1 damage, unfortunately, that is a 0. Yep, so we do manage to get the attack in, but we managed to hit with the flat of the blade instead of the edge. Damn it. Okay, back to the rat's turn. 4, that's going to be another scratch. So D100 plus 10. 37, that's a failure. Combat skill is 30. Defense check for us, 55. Plus 10 from the dagger, that's 65, giving us an automatic success, giving us a success. We'll counter-attack. 43 is success, plus 10 from the dagger, that's 53. Giving us another successful attack. We're hitting the 15, we're hitting the right front leg, and we're dealing maximum damage. 6, which is 2 points of damage. And that is, if I can get the right window. Yes, it's already on, perfect. And that is the end of the encounter. Nice. So yeah, so we defeated the Blightfang rat. Very good. Very, very good. Nice. Okay, so now what we need to do is this. We need to do a few things. We need to do our integrity roll for our armor. So let's see. Armor integrity value represented by die. After a fight where the armor is worn by a character seen in use, integrity die must be rolled. Roll of 1 or 2 means that die goes down the die stage 1 stage. So we're at D6, so it goes down to a D6. Sorry, we're at D8, goes down to a D8. So let's do a D8, 1 or 2. 7. Nope, 7 is fine. A coin set. And then last stage D4, beyond repair. Repaired armor increases integrity by 1 die sign in the die chain. No armor can go higher than its initial integrity though. No armor has the same maximum integrity. Check each one. That's fine. And now, what we need to do is, we need to have a look at experience, because we got some experience. So, Blightfang rats. Laser shit gives experience. I don't know. Oh, wait, do we only get experience from... That's a good question. I didn't even look at experience, actually. Good question. Currency? No, encumbrance. That's one thing I need to look at. Currency. Now, how do we get experience? Well, it doesn't matter. I'll look in this in my own time. Basically, I just wanted to do the combat section. Yeah, I just wanted to redo the combat section just to show you how combat's like. So, yeah, so pretty cool then. Right, so as of right now, we got our armor back. Oh, that's right. We need to randomize our toughness again, don't we? We do. I believe. Do we see it in the creating your survivor? Attribute skills. Yeah, characters recover D4 toughness immediately after a fight is over. So we do a D4. We get 1. This gives us 1 point toughness back, so we're down to 16. Nice. And because we defeated 3 opponents, we could put that to 3 towards our personal goal. And yeah, I think that's pretty cool then. Right then. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, in between episodes, before we move on to our next sort of areas, I'm going to look at see how experience is given. I'm not sure if it's... I'm pretty sure experience is given via... I think it might be Overseer kills, I think. I'm not sure about random encounters. I'll have to have a look. There's a lot of things that the guide don't mention about. I mean, as far as I know, I've read through the book and I've read through this guide. I don't know how many times I've not seen anything about experience. Let's say that I do read the guide in the book once I've been Blue Moon anyway, so little things to forget about me. But basically, that's how combat works. Of course, the more combat we do, the more streamlined things will be, and obviously we'll have some other followers and some other NPCs in here to make battles a little bit more a little bit more complex and a little bit more exciting and stuff. Right, so anyway, that's going to be it for today's episode. So in the next episode, we're going to be carrying on with this tutorial dungeon, and we'll see if we can get to the Overseer. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Links down below. Check them out if you wish. Apart from that, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you next time. Take care.